I don't know about you, but this past week, gold has definitely sent me on a roller coaster. One moment it was up, the next moment it was down, and everywhere in between. And if you're looking for a great game plan to figure out which way the market will be going next week, then you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to talk about my potential entry, exit, and profit target zones, and also show you the markup for this particular market for this upcoming week. So as usual, let's just get right into it. So we can see here on the weekly time frame that the candle closed bullish, but it did close kind of a weak bullish candle, mainly because we have all of this exhaustion or rejection to the top side. So that could mean a number of things for the market coming up for this week. So as usual, let's just go ahead and mark off our zones. And I'm going to start by marking off the very top of this market. And let me change this so we can have the usual yellow boxes. Boom, there we go. Okay, so marking off the very top, you can see the height of the market is at 3499.97, really close to 3500. I like to have the very top marked off because on the weekly time frame, all this wick is candles, or they're candles on lower time frames. So I want to mark that off, and then also just going to copy this, and then also mark off this level here at the top of this past week's wick. If you are tired of missing out on gold in this blueprint, you're going to get an easy to follow profitable gold trading table, as well as profitable entry levels and strategies. If you've tried to decode things like FOMC, geopolitical events, you may have tried without much success. And in this blueprint, you're also going to master simple strategies that the big players like banks and institutions follow, and then also be able to spot profitable opportunities, so that way you could avoid some of the common traps that other traders fall into. And then of course, you're going to save hours of research with a clear and actionable plan inside of the gold market. Just take a look at what some people are saying about this. So go ahead and grab your copy of the Profitable Gold Market Blueprint today. And that price is at 34.97. And the other level that I'm going to draw is going to be right here below these two candles, where it basically forms some sort of support. And this is going to be at 32.40 and 41 cents roughly. So let's go down to the daily time frame, so that way we could map out a better game plan with more data. So as you can see here, there's that wick. Here is that area that I marked off. So as you can see, this level matches up quite nicely with this zone right here. We may refine on lower time frames. And then once again, right here at the support, the only thing I'm going to do is just move this down just a little bit. So that way it's moving ever so slightly. Now it's sitting at 32.35. And let's go to the H4 time frame. All right, so once again, starting from the very top, now we can see some actual candles here instead of just a wick, but it still looks pretty good. Leaving that alone, this also looks pretty good. We do see a little gap down, so we may have to make some adjustments on a lower time frame. And then here on this level, I do want to make an adjustment, so I'm going to pull this all the way down to 32.12. And in between, we have a lot of candles. If we measured this range, we can see that this range is over 2,000 pips. Okay, so let's go ahead and break up these zones, so that way, or break up this really big zone, so that way we can have a couple of zones to potentially trade from. And the first zone that I see is about here at 33.60, and that's mainly because of a support here. We do have a nice clean break. I think this was actually an area that I was looking at in real time, so it definitely looks familiar. And then another zone that I want to break up is around here. So price formed a support here, and this is at 32.89 or 32.90, however you want to mark it off, but a nice support here. And of course, we got candles chopping through this. We really don't care about that too much because that happened in the past. That actually happened last month. We want to focus on more recent price action. So let's go to the H2 time frame. All right, so now that we have a lot more data on this candle, or this candle chart, now we can see that price is matching up quite nicely with the levels that we drew. So this looks good. We just drew that. That looks good. And the only thing I'm going to change is this, move this down just a little bit. Now this is at 3204, going down to the H1 time frame. And this is right before we get into our game plan. So if you're enjoying marking off these levels so far, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel so that way you can get more content like this. So that way I can also understand more of what you all are looking for and I can create videos possibly around those topics. So going back to the H1 time frame, everything is looking good right here so far. Actually, I do want to move this down just a little bit. So now this is sitting at 33.56 and we do have some candles right there. So actually let me move this. Okay, it's pretty much in the same area, but I did move it above this area here. So this is now at 33.58 and this is still looking great. And so is this. Okay, cool. So I believe we have enough range for each of these zones in order to come up with a game plan. So these are really big zones. So if you just wanted to break these down a little bit more on your own, there are a couple of things that you could do and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's start with the game plan. So price has basically started high, came down, made a really big retracement and then another retracement and then it came back up. So price is basically in a state where it could essentially do anything. So the big things that I would be looking for, let me make this area larger. So in this area, in this immediate area, basically we have a short-term downtrend. Could it continue or not? We really don't know. But there are some things that I do see inside of this market that I do want to mark off. So let me just go ahead and mark off. I do see a couple levels of support and resistance. So first I see a level of resistance right here, and this is at 33.46. And then next I do see another level. I see, do I want to mark this off? This is basically the same thing. So we're just going to mark it off right here. And this level is at 33.25. So I do see these two levels. And right here, what I will be waiting for is to see what momentum wants to do. So let's measure this area right here. So this is 130 pips, actually a really nice range if price was to go up. So that would be one idea. Another idea would be continuing the trend, at least this immediate trend, going down. And then this is 338 pips inside of the market. You do see some exhaustion right here. So obviously this is an area to be careful of. So I'm just going to mark that off right there. And that level is at 32.74. And looking at this from both sides, price, like I said, is in a state where it could essentially do anything. We did close bullish for the week, but there was also a lot of exhaustion or rejection at the top. So that can mean a number of things in this upcoming week as we monitor price. So let's just say that price continued the sells. So in this zone, I wouldn't be interested in taking any sells because of this exhaustion. So I would actually be starting my selling down at this level from that 275 kind of zone. Let me move this up, 275 all the way down to 3204. And then of course, just continuing the trend down. So if I, let's say, ran out of levels, what I would do is I would look left and see what levels could I potentially draw. So I'm looking for key support levels. So let's just use this horizontal ray. I've created another community here on School called Consistent Profitable Traders. And if you want to join, you can go to school.com/traders in order to join this free membership. I have a number of things here inside of the community. You can see that the community is growing. There are people being added almost every single day. And then inside of the classroom, I do have some things here. I'm constantly adding new things, new resources for new traders. And if you go over to the calendar, then you'll see that I have a monthly call with everybody inside of this group. So if you want to join this community, go ahead and go to school.com/traders and I'll see you there. And this, let me see if this is too far. Yeah, it's a bit far, but it could work. So 3104 could be another level that could be drawn if you ran out of downward levels to use. And let's talk about the top side. So this is the upside right here, and this is the downside right here, and skipping this area right here. No trade zone. And for me, I would be looking at this level, targeting this level right here, mainly because it's a previous level resistance. So the first would be right here at 33.58, and this is a resistance level. So if price was to break up above, especially above this wick right here, let me do this wick and then continue up, that could be a really great trade idea because there's basically no friction in this zone. This could be really smooth, and this is 400 pips. This is incredible. So marking off this as a no trade zone for me and continuing to follow the price up from here. Okay, great. And I think that's enough for now. Of course, just monitor the price as it moves along throughout the week. And I just realized I didn't call this out. So this level right here is 34.35. It's going from 34.10 up to 34.35 roughly. So anyway, so this could be a really good trade idea depending on what your trading style is. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to this channel so that way you can see more videos like this. I'll see you next time.